Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_Access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers. Tonight, guys, we're going to talk 53-man roster. We're going to break it down position by position. It's going to be a blast. I believe it was it Chuck Jaggers last night that recommended that? Jacob, do you remember? I'm trying to think of who it was. Someone had super chatted.
I thought it was Chuck super chatted it. Yeah,
I think so. Whoever it was, shout out to them. Thanks for the recommendation. So we'll dive into it. And listen, we're going to do this again throughout training camp as other things start to unfold. But in the meantime, we're going to do that here on the 53-man roster. If you're new here at PTA, welcome in. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button on your way in. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're just fans like you guys here to talk Packers. And we go live pretty much every day. We do post-game shows. We do pre-game shows. We do film breakdown. We got all the bases covered here from a Green Bay Packers standpoint. So if that sounds like the type of content you would like to join in on, just go ahead and sub to the channel. What's up, Crazy Work? Good to see you in the house there over on X. We got Hardy the Prophet. It was Chuck, he said. There you go. Hardy the Prophet. See, Hardy, you should have just took credit for that. You should have said that was me. That's how I would have rolled with that. But anyway, I see Mac in the house. Miss Mary, good to see you. And she sent the gang over at My Autism Connection, sent me the Pimpus t-shirt. I'm going to have to sport it on the show here one night.
Nice.
A card signed by everybody. Mary, thank you so much for that. It was absolutely awesome. And I know you guys sent a video as well. We're going to try to show that before we do the giveaway. So we're going to be doing that giveaway here really, really soon, probably Saturday or Sunday, depending on when we can go live. For those of you who didn't know, we are doing a giveaway here, an autographed Dorsey Levens jersey, raising money for a good cause with My Autism Connection, building hope, community, and independence for autistic adults. For every $5 you donate, you're entered into the contest one time. She may have already started compiling the names. I was going to wait a little later in the week to do it, but we're going to put everybody's name on a wheel, spin it, and give away that awesome Dorsey Levens jersey. So, again, that's My Autism Connection. Make sure you go check them out. They're doing great things over there. We got Emilio joining us, man. Look at this stranger right here. You married yet, Emilio?
Not yet. Present, though. Present. Sorry, I feel like Jacob missing all these shows, but I'm back.
Shots fired. Wow.
Unbelievable.
all I gotta say is alligator Alcatraz for you.
Hey,
all right.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
I don't know, Jacob.
Get ready to go.
Right there. That's what you need to keep it positive tonight. All right. So for the new people that joined us tonight, they're already gone. So let's get down to talking 53-man roster. All right. As we dive into the Patreon article we put up, the best way to support us here at PTA is just join the Patreon group. $3 get you access to everything. Patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. I'll also get you entered into the giveaways. Now, if you don't have Patreon, you're like, hey, man, I want to support the show and also be entered in the giveaways. Just hit that join tab right below the video here on YouTube and become a member of the PTA posse here. Let's jump into it, boys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Packers, OTAs, and minicamps are done, and the 2025 roster is stacked and ultra competitive. I think this is one of the most competitive rosters we've seen in a long time, and there's several different camp battles going on, especially on the bottom half of the roster. That's great for the season, but means tough cuts for talented players, even fan favorites. Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur face brutal decisions, and training camp battles will be intense. We're projecting the 53-man roster position by position with a few bold predictions. Big questions loom at wide receiver, where a veteran could get squeezed out, in the secondary with a shakeup, and on offensive line, where the final spots hinge on the last preseason snap. This is about who makes the green and gold for week one. Let's dive in. Let's start with the quarterback position. This is pretty straightforward, gang. I've got them keeping 2. Notice the number that's in parentheses here as well. That's how many they kept at that position last year, breaking camp with the initial 53. All right. So we got Jordan Love, obviously, franchise leader, the face of the franchise, I should say. And then Malik Willis, being one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. No third quarterback on the roster last year. We're not carrying one this year. We're going to set it up. At least I did, and you guys can disagree if you'd like. I'm setting it up to completely mimic what they did last year. That's not to say they're going to break camp with the same amount of players at each position, but that's how we set up this exercise. Sean Clifford and rookie Taylor Elgersma will vie for the practice squad. Does anybody disagree there? Do you think there's a chance Malik Willis gets traded? Do you want him to get traded? How do y'all feel about the quarterback room here?
I would like to handcuff Malik Willis to the railing at 12:65 and make sure that he
easy, Jacob. You didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, come on now.
But,
No,
I don't think
like
that's gonna
Daryl's
happen.
mom does, right?
Unbelievable. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, but I agree with this. I don't think they're gonna, break camp with 3. I will say this: I'm very excited about Taylor Elgersma. What we've seen so far from the kid, man, looks really good. But yeah, I would fully anticipate him and Clifford on the practice squad to start the year. But you never know. We'll see once camp gets going.
Yep. Emilio, what do you think, man? Any shocker here? Is that how you see it as well?
Keep Malik. He won us the game in Tennessee. I mean, that's all that matters to me, right? Get the ball. He got a running game going. I think he's a competent quarterback that Matt LaFleur is getting the most out of right now. And I say we get the rest out of him and then go ahead and go make your money because, he had already slid down before. So now's his time to shine and come back.
Yeah, Jacob, I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor Elgersma kind of takes Sean Clifford's spot on the practice squad, to be honest with you, man. They're really excited about him. They say he had a big arm. I don't know if you've done any research on him out of Canada, but, man, that dude did some amazing things with the football he's played.
Yeah. He did, and he also is – he's not like, Mike Vick or nothing, but he's more nimble on his feet than people give him credit for. He's good at moving around in the pocket. He slings the ball, very beautifully, and like we always, he's younger. I believe he's younger than Sean Clifford. I could be wrong there, but I remember Clifford being a little bit older coming out. And the Packers it's a not for long business, and the Packers are very, very adamant about making sure that they've got young and upcomers biting at the heels of the guys that are starting. But just no, dead fish. No, I don't want to trade Willis. If we could get a number 1 pick, I'd do it. But I don't see that as a realistic option unless what's the scenario where that would have to happen? Like Aaron Rodgers goes down and Pittsburgh's like, we got no chance. We got to have a quarterback. And then Tomlin makes the trade. I don't know.
You just sound
I
like
honestly,
Morgan Freeman, man. What was that Morgan Freeman voice there?
I don't know.
Like the Steelers front office is running the organization from Shawshank Redemption or something.
No, I don't want to see a scenario where Malik Willis goes. I think he is honestly one of the best, if not the best backup quarterback. Like Emilio said, he won us games and he came in and secured games, and he was not a liability. If anything, some of the stuff he did, you're like, wow, I kind of want to see that in some certain packages if we could even pull that off in a way. But,
Yeah. Deadfish says, I would trade Willis for a number 1 pick. I don't think he would get, but I don't think we'll get that offer. For me, I think the number is, I don't know if I would give Willis up for a third rounder. I think that's kind of the cutoff for me. Just knowing you got a backup that can come in and win you a game or two, I think that's so valuable, man. I think we would all agree that Sean Clifford and Taylor Elgersma is not going to come in and play the way Willis did. So. I'm definitely in the camp of keeping him. Drew D says it makes most sense to let Willis play out his contract and get the comp pick for him. Drew, double check, and everybody in the chat help me here. I was I had the understanding that because we traded for him, we don't get a comp pick, but that I could be completely wrong there. And I know we had a conversation about it when we first traded for him last year. We need to find out a definitive answer for that. When he walks in free agency this coming year, do we get a comp pick or not? If anybody knows the answer to that, let us know in the chat.
And to his contract, honestly, him staying on the roster is costing us basically nothing versus getting a second first round pick. You're talking millions, right? It's so the numbers wise right now, it works out for us keeping him right there.
Yeah. I was thinking the rules said you had to draft that player. You had to have drafted him, but I could be completely wrong there. It wouldn't be the first time. I promise you that. So it looks like Judy said you can as as long as we let him walk, I think is what he's saying there. So I trust Drew. Drew knows the rules really, really well. So probably better than me, I'm sure. Clint, the armchair quarterback, gifting 10 Packer fan total access memberships to 10 random viewers here. Thank you so much, Clint. Appreciate you, buddy. You are the man. All right, let's move on to running back here real quick. Actually, Ed Madden said something. No, okay, we're good. No. Running backs. Last year we kept 3. All right, Josh Jacobs is the workhorse. Marshawn Lloyd is the speedy backup. The fight is for the 3rd and 4th spots between Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks. Wilson showed flashes in 2024, but Brooks' pass protection and special teams value gives him an edge. So the original AI description of how they would build the roster had us keeping 4. I'm sticking to 3 because that's what we broke out of camp with last year. For me, it's the locks are Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Emmanuel Wilson. You're not going to let Emmanuel Wilson go. I'm sorry. To me, it seems like if you go with 3 like we did last year, guys, Chris Brooks is probably the guy out. And I think you have a better chance of him clearing waivers, seeing that he was already on a practice squad when we signed him last year, as opposed to an Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, look at Emmanuel Wilson's PFF grade, guys. Yeah. 82.9. He was the 12th highest graded running back in the league. That's a solid 1-2 punch right there, man.
Solid evidence that, I mean, I'm going to push back on the article a little bit. I think Emmanuel Wilson's running back too, until proven otherwise. We're all excited to see Marshawn Lloyd. I am too, but he's got to win that job, man. You know, he hasn't played football in a long time. So I think it's Emmanuel Wilson's spot to lose as the backup. And like you just said, you can look at the PFF grades last year and you can watch some tape and see he played some really quality football for us down the stretch. And I think it's his spot until we see otherwise. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you're exactly right, Tim. Because, I mean, with the running back setup, you got 70-30 roughly, Jacobs, and then your second stringer, and you'd be completely happy with an 82.9 as a grade for 30% of your running back, right? Kind of spread it out through there, because if not, you're not getting into a groove with Jacobs. So it's not like we can split it 50-50. You do want to get to that, sort of sweet spot where you're giving him enough touches where he's seen the defense set up a play beforehand in the game, and then able to, all right, we can spring it with Wilson, giving him a different option, different speed, different look.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I'm with Tim. I think Emmanuel Wilson's, he's been there. He's been available. The whole can't make the club in the tub thing, that shines so true to Marshawn Lloyd. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of his. Just a few episodes ago, I was telling you, if you want to have a good time this summer in the offseason, go pop in the USC highlights and just see what kind. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Michael Bennett. You guys remember Michael Bennett?
Yep.
He just seems to have that kind of like, era about him. But, I think I saw Clayton. What do you think? I think you highlighted this comment. Coach Len was saying that 4 running backs, we need that H-back role versatility. I would maybe push back just a bit and say that I love the 3-headed monster we'd have with Jacobs, Wilson, and Lloyd, and maybe have more of a tight end trying to fill that kind of hybrid H-back role. Is that something?
Savion Williams has the
that's what I'm kind of saying. Is somebody that's a tweener.
The funny thing is, like Coach Lynn's saying, 4 running backs, and I don't disagree with it. Like, if they decide to keep Chris Brooks as a 4th running back, I'm not going to argue with that. Chris Brooks played really sound football last year, I personally think. Obviously, he graded out with a 65.6 there, not too bad, right? And Coach LaFleur just absolutely loved him in pass pro and catching the ball out of the backfield. But the thing that's funny, Jacob, is you were like, I think I'd rather keep a tight end. Coach Lynn's saying keep 4 running backs, right? You're saying keep an extra tight end, and the Packers only kept 3 running backs and 3 tight ends last year, so they went in the opposite direction. So
I think I'm more like what Tim said, is a guy like Savion who would justify then another wide receiver spot. You know what I'm saying? Shifting around that manpower with people that can actually maybe be an H-back / a weird tight end hybrid / whatever.
Yeah, and the only thing that makes me hesitant on Savion as a quote-unquote H-back is pass protection. There is an aspect of that. And listen, you can scheme around that. You could just have him be that weapon out of the backfield. But when I hear H-back, I think of, kind of that U tight end or a Kyle Juszczyk or somebody like that can block.
No block, no rock.
Exactly right, Coach. Exactly right. So let's see here. Bates, going back to the quarterback talk, says if Willis signs a substantial deal elsewhere, the Packers don't offset this loss with equivalent or greater free agent signings. They could be in line for a compensatory pick. He goes on to say, however, the Packers' 2026 compensatory outlook is currently net negative due to their signings of players like Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs, outweighing the loss of TJ Slayton. So that pretty much confirms it there. I'm sure he gathered that information somewhere on the interwebs, and that confirms what Drew D was saying, that we are in line for a comp pick. That's good information to note for sure. So if that's the case, man, yeah, have him on staff as a backup, and then maybe by the time you get to that point, you'll pick up a compensatory picks. So there you go. That's quarterback and running back. Let's move along to the tough one here, man. Ooh, wide receiver. All right, here we go. Wide receiver. 6 is what they broke camp with last year. 6 on the active roster. This is the toughest group to predict. Christian Watson starts on the pup. He's got the ACL recovery, likely back week 12. You know how we feel about that. I think it's going to be a little bit earlier than that. Locks are Jaden Reed, Dontavion Wicks, rookies Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, and Romeo Dobbs, despite trade rumors. So if he does not get traded, I think that's the 5, right? The last spot pits Mecole Hardman against Bo Melton. I'm going with Hardman in hopes Melton makes it to the practice squad. I don't think Mecole Hardman would make it to the practice squad. I think somebody would sign him off the scrap heap personally. But again, the locks are Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, Golden, Williams. Making the cut is Hardman. The surprise cut would be Melton, trying to get him on the practice squad. And then on pup starting the season will be Christian Watson. The real question becomes, when Christian Watson comes back, which one of those guys do you cut? You know what I mean? So let's go around the horn with it this time. Let's start with you this time, Jake. What do you think?
Yeah, this to me looks about as likely as all scenarios here, barring again any types of injuries or that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously we know what we have in Reed, Dobbs, and Wicks. The 2 unknowns are the Golden Williams. Obviously, we have the Hardman scenario that's added in. I just really, again, to reiterate, I feel there's something just different with him, the veteran presence, and he's not an old geezer type guy. You know, he's still, what is he, like 28, 29 or something like that? Mm-hmm. And the Super Bowl experience, the game-winning Super Bowl experience, that's something you just can't coach. I think that is going to be a reason why they would definitely take that surprise cut of Melton. And how you said, Mecole Hardman isn't like, you know, he's not Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, but he's big enough of a name that if somebody sees him out there and they've got, you know, a struggling 3rd or 4th string receiver, I think they say, well, let's bring Mecole in here for sure. Especially when he's proven, again, in the offseason, when a lot of wide receivers decide to get kind of cocky and, you know, kind of boisterous and out there, he's like, I'm a team guy. Let's go to the freaking softball games. Let's do this. Let's go to the offseason stuff, the pup. Let's get to know the fan base, the community. I think that a lot of guys would be way more willing to take a flyer on him.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because you're saying bye to Bo, Malik, you know, a couple of dogs. So it's it really is tough. I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe Mecole, maybe they wait till the very end. You know, they're walking it down. You got to get to the 90. You got to get it down to 70, and then you got to cut it to 53. So maybe they wait till the end, because on top of that, you're only dressing 48 a game. Yep. So you really do need to make a decision on who's going to benefit this team the most. If you're somebody that can play, not saying both sides of the ball, but, you know, being able to be functional as a you know, punt cover guy, as a gunner, a whatever, and kick coverage guy, that's what's going to get you that last spot on, you know, when we're talking cut line, that's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with your point too, Clayton, that, you know, putting Mecole Hardman on the practice squad, he's not going to last there very long, right? He'd probably get snatched up pretty quickly. And I think you could make the argument that if Bo ended up there, he could get picked up pretty quickly as well. So it's kind of tough to, you know, protect guys that have a ton of tape out there and have shown what they can do and bring to the table. You know, we talked about the whole, you know, Bo taking some reps at corner just to kind of get his feet wet, see what it looks like. We don't know. That could still gain more momentum throughout camp, depending on how things go. And so if he can play his way onto the team by being a special teamer, being a receiver, potential backup cornerback, it's going to be really tough for them to get this receiver room down. And yeah, I am definitely going to miss my boy Malik Heath too, because at least at this stage of the game, it's just tough. You know, unless old Matty wants to break camp with 9 receivers or something this year,
yeah,
it's going to be really difficult.
Kick Orzik to the curb, right, Tim, and save a spot or two here or there.
Let Glover be the long snapper, right?
Ooh, now we're talking.
Greg Rice in the chat says, Bates, I would not be shocked if Bo makes it as a break in case of emergency cornerback. I think another team would take Bo if he's on the practice squad. He is too valuable on special teams. And it's funny you said that, Greg, because it's spot on with what the original search, like popping this into the search engine. And it's cool how you can kind of line up AI and tell them to think like a specific general manager. How would they see this? They had Bo Melton making the roster over Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
And for that very reason, that he adds some value in the cornerback room potentially. I'm too drunk to taste that chicken at this point, but it is a good mental note to make. And another thing it mentioned was the special teams. Bo has been a really, really good contributor on special teams. So I wouldn't be totally against Bo making the roster over Mecole Hardman. I'm just looking at Mecole Hardman like, okay, there's you a great kick returner, right? And then someone who could take the top off the defense as well. Almost that guy to kind of mix and match into the F with Jayden Reed. And then you could slide him out to the Z and possibly put Matthew Golden at the X from time to time until Christian comes back as well. So,
and Bo knows the offense still too, right? You know, he's been here for a couple of years, so he knows choice routes, whatever Matt's asking him. That could be something. So the only thing I would say is maybe they're keeping Mecole just until the end of cuts and say, hey, teach him everything you can, and then all right, you know, we'll move on from there. But
yeah, for sure, man. So we'll see how the wide receiver room shakes out. Again, the way that we had it fallen here is Jayden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavion Wicks, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, plus Mecole Hardman, and then the surprise cut being Melton. And here's the thing, too. They could carry 7. They've carried 7 before, not recently, but they have carried 7 for sure. I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to drop this down for just a second. I want you guys to look at this tweet that went out. Matt Schneidman put it out. All right, so here's the thing. There's going to be some grunting, and everybody on the podcast is going to be like, what in the world are y'all watching over here? This is Matthew Golden running routes. His feet are quick, don't get me wrong. But the thing I really want you to key in on, watch his hands on the second and third clip here. We'll just start with the feet first here. Here we go. How quick, dude. I mean, that's feet, right? Now look at this. Long.
Yeah.
Dang, get over his knees and chop it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one, watch this catch right here. Just listen to it, eat his finger.
That's
how about these hands?
Oh.
So anyway,
no gloves either, right?
Yeah,
no gloves
right.
on, right? Like that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, man, the closer we get, and you guys know I'm the boring fan that's always trying to curb the enthusiasm with rookies because there's always kind of this curve and it takes a little time to get them acclimated. We've seen it with Christian Watson. We've seen it with pretty much every rookie receiver that's not named Jayden Reed, although some of the fan base still wants to cut his ass. I don't understand that. But with Matthew Golden, there's something feels different this year. That coupled with Goody having a first-round grade on him, I think this dude's going to come out the gate and look a little like Greg Jennings or something, man. I really do. It just kind of feels like he's going to be one of those guys with strong hands, crisp route runner. He's way faster than Greg Jennings ever was, but it just kind of feels like the way he plays under control is the smoothness of Jennings for sure. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
No, watching that, I think we sent that in the group chat, right? And we all were just like, whoa, like that just looks like every now and then, we joke about the Underwear Olympics and not having against, actual competition, but there are times where you just watch that type of, those chops, dude, that was chop suey. You know what I mean? That was crazy. And then, like you said, the way that just to catch the ball in that fluid motion. And then the biggest thing to me was his ability while he's doing all that, then to turn up field. And that's where you see that end long kind of breakaway speed, because we love seeing, to me, that reminds me more of like, I didn't think he had such an underneath skill set of like a Tyreek Hill where you have that quick motion, water bug type, just, and then it's the long speed. Like we're used to Christian Watson and him kind of having those long strides, and all of a sudden it just is like a gazelle. He's just effortlessly in front of people. That guy is churning and burning, but still at the same time, he's making separation. So yeah. I'm very excited about that.
All right. Anything else on wide receiver, fellas? We good?
I feel like he's a really good complement to Jayden Reed. I'm looking very much forward to seeing Matt Golden and Jaden Reed on the field at the same time and watching secondaries try and figure out what the hell they're going to do with those guys. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. It's funny you said that too, because when I was trying to search for an image, I'm like, I wonder if there's a picture of Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden together at camp or something. This is the only picture of them together, and it's actually a thumbnail from one of our past videos that popped up. So
we'll get that photo this year, Clayton. We'll get it.
Got that right. Got that right.
What do you guys think about the guys there to make the practice squad quick? Just because we've heard a lot of flashes about dudes like Cornelius and even like Malik. I'd love to think we could stash him again. I just don't know if it's going to happen. What are your thoughts? And same with Brown out of nowhere.
Julian Hicks is another guy. Don't sleep on him either. He had a really good camp last year, and just we had a full room last year as well. So he could be a potential practice squad guy too.
And I'm kind of boring here. Like, I want Bo Melton and Malik Heath on the practice squad. If you got those guys coming out of the bullpen at your wide receiver room, boy, you're sitting pretty. I really feel good about that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Emilio. What do you think, man?
It's just about getting them there. That's my only holdup. This is going to be where we're keeping our eyes all off season. This is what we're going to be talking about the rest of the year until that first game. Until that 53 gets put on, we're going to be talking about the wide receivers. It's just getting them to the practice squad. That's all I'm worried about. But yeah, no, we need it for Matt's offense, for Jay Love. I think that everybody we have here is good. But again, like you were saying earlier, Clay, once Christian comes back, what are we going to do? I mean, I don't even want to talk about it, honestly, right now.
Am I the only one that gets stressed out at cut day? Like, I'm just like, there's 6 players I want to keep. Like, how do we do this? So
this receiving it's tough.
It is, Brett. So when Christian comes back, you're right, Emilio. It's going to be stressful for sure, man. So let's move along to tight end. All right, last year we broke camp with 3 tight ends. Okay. And here's what we wrote up. Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave form a dynamic duo. The third spot goes to Ben Sims over John Fitzpatrick. Thanks to Sims' special teams value, they'll keep 3. The locks are Kraft, Musgrave, and Sims. Fitzpatrick will get cut. Hopefully you can sneak him onto the practice squad. It's funny, too, because Fitzpatrick had the second best PFF grade, albeit Luke Musgrave had some limited snaps. But Tucker Kraft leading the way there at 67.8. Obviously had a really good year last year, man. We talked about the statistical outlook on him coming up. Wouldn't be surprised if he stays healthy, if Tucker Kraft flirts with 800 to 900 yards this year and 10 tuds. I mean, I would not be surprised one bit. What do y'all think about the tight end room there? Just keeping 3? Jacob, you kind of talked about this earlier. Do you think you keep 4? Do you keep 3? What do you think here, man?
Nah, I mean, I really do think going in, it's going to be Tuck Norris, Luke Musgrave, and Ben Sims. I just think that they're most comfortable with them. I think they've shown, obviously, with Tucker, I've got even higher hopes than you do, Clayton. I legitimately am. I'm drafting him in every single fantasy league I can because he falls. And I'm not, I swear I really am. And I'm so excited about it because I think people are sleeping. We've done multiple deep dives into what his metrics are and how they stack up to certain guys in seasons that were people like Brock Bowers that like shattering rookie records, in seasons where you still have guys like Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews and those types of solidified tight ends. You still have guys like Sam Laporta and a lot of other. I still think that Tucker's going to be right there in that mix. I really do. I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I think he may be a top 7 at the worst, but if he stays healthy, they're just the way that he has progressed in his game to become more of an all-around guy, and the way that I think Matt LaFleur has kind of learned that, all right, I can't, and I don't want to say this in a negative way. He goes, I know what I got in Tuck. I can't quite count on Musgrave to be there in the type of way, take the type of snaps, and honestly take the type of beating physically that Tuck Norris takes and inflicts. Like he's offended if a cornerback tackles him by himself. That's the type of mentality that we want from our number 1 tight end. And I honestly think that at the end of the year, people are going to be talking about Tuck Norris and George Kittle as if they're like one and the same. That's what I think.
Yeah. To that point, Jacob, the leadership mentality, they were kind of talking about that on Move the Sticks. It was, they were just like, if you find a player that's trying to bring other players along, that's a guy you want to build around. That's a guy you want to stack, success about and around. And that's exactly what Tuck is. I think that, he wants Musgrave to succeed as much as he does. Right. So I think that having that kind of guy in the tight end room is huge. His mentality is perfect, but man, Matt LaFleur got to get him open. Right. We got to get him the ball.
Yeah. Greg Rice says, I hope Tuck gets a lot more targets this year. And Tim, Coach Lynn says in the chat, Musgrave is going to have a breakout year. I don't know if you guys have caught on, but Coach Lynn has talked a lot about Musgrave this offseason. Like every time we talk tight end, he mentions Luke Musgrave. How cool would it be, Tim, if you just jump up and all of a sudden you got Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave flirting with a 70 PFF grade and Musgrave giving Kraft a run for his money at some of those tight end one spot?
That would make our offense that much more deadly, right? Yeah. And let's be honest, Luke Musgrave has to have that kind of year. He absolutely has to this year. And I think with Tuck Norris here, we talked about him getting more targets. True. But it's going to be tough to spread the ball around when you got to get Musgrave going too. And we already know Tucker's probably a better blocker for sure than Musgrave, probably anybody else on this team other than maybe Ben Sims. So I agree with this, this projection here. I think it's Kraft, Musgrave, and Sims. Fitzpatrick being on the bubble. Another guy, I liked the football he played for us last year. Obviously, other than missing the block on the opening kickoff against the Eagles and almost costing Keyshawn his life. But other than that, I thought he was pretty good. So there's a lot to like about the tight end room. And I think it's not hyperbolic at all for Coach Lynn to be high on Musgrave because, the dude's been kind of cheated by injury and hasn't really had a chance to really get it going. We saw flashes from him. We saw him show up to OTAs looking like a new man. So I don't know. I think you could be right, Coach. Musgrave could have a breakout year.
Let's get down to the hard part, boys. Offensive line. This is a tough one here, man.
Real quick before we transition, could I ask Coach to put in the chat what he would consider a breakout year statistically, or maybe just like in his role? And I'm not pushing back. I honestly think that I would love to see it. I want to see it. I just want to know, like, if Tuck is getting, like, I envision Tuck getting somewhere between like 700 and 800 yards. I really do think he's going to be that impactful. So what does that leave over while we have that crazy wide receiver group, the deep running back group? Where does Luke Musgrave, what level does he have to hit for us as Packer fans to say we need to bring him back? Or you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I want him to succeed, but realistically, what's the number with all the other talent on the field and him being such a, I don't want to say a slow start, but a second string tight end? That's tough. What's your slice of the pie is basically what I'm saying. There you go. Right. Coach is saying 30 catches, 600 yards.
To the breakout point, Jacob, did you listen to that PFF pod where they picked Tucker as a breakout guy?
Yeah, I did. I love that.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely.
Yeah, Coach Lynn says 30 catches, 600 yards, 5 tuds. If Luke Musgrave gets 600 yards receiving and Tucker Kraft is somewhere between 600 and 800 himself, Jordan Love probably having an MVP caliber season. Sign me up, Coach. That would be absolutely awesome. I was going to say 400 yards. I was going to say if Musgrave cracks 400, there you go. Yeah, if Luke gets 400 this season and I thought he said turds there for me. He says turds. So, yeah, that would be, to me, 400.
Sorry, did you say turds?
There, right. Yeah. So if he cracks 400 yards, I think it's a great year for Luke Musgrave. He hits 600. Tucker might be looking over his shoulder a little bit, like, hold up a minute. Second rounder might be passing the third rounder up. Coach Lynn says if he stays healthy, that into the playoffs as well. Got you. That makes sense, Coach.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yep. I agree with it too. Because in my head, I was like about 300, maybe 2 or 3 tuds. And just him just being consistent and maybe improving his blocking a little bit in weird situations and 2 tight end sets where it's like, you look at some of those right there with the pass blocking to me is, like Tim said, that's probably your glaring need right there if you had to look at a chart. But
yeah, I remember us watching we were doing the Jordan Love Chalk Talk the other day, the film breakdown. You guys, if you're new here, you can find that video. Just go cycle through the videos right here. Should be just a day or two ago. We did a Jordan Love film breakdown, and there was one play on there where Luke Musgrave had the lookout block. You could see him scream, "Look out" for Jordan Love because he just got Olayed completely. So. All right, offensive line, let's get to it. Last year, they broke camp with 10. We wrote Zach Tom, right tackle, Rasheed Walker, left tackle, Arcette, with Jordan Morgan pushing Walker and serving as right guard. Inside, Aaron Banks at left guard, Elton Jenkins at center, and Jordan Morgan at right guard to start. Rookies John Williams and Anthony Belton are backups, with Jacob Monk edging out others for the final spot. So the locks for the offensive line: Zach Tom, Rasheed Walker, Jordan Morgan, Aaron Banks, Elton Jenkins, Sean Ryan, and Anthony Belton, the second-round pick. And then making the cut, we got Belton listed twice. Hold up a minute. So we only got 9 on this list. I didn't realize we listened twice.
Well, I can hear him talking about Travis Glover.
You know what that opens up? A spot for my boy.
Here's the guy.
You think I was going to miss this? You think I was going to miss this pod? We were talking O-line.
Somebody was already hitting fireworks outside. It was Emilio clapping when he realized Travis Glover's got a spot. So this is a typo, obviously. So we've just got 9, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we keep 10, now keep in mind the original information that was spit out when I put this through the system was had us only keeping 9, but I felt like let's go with what they broke camp with last year at 10. So if that's the case, everybody pick your 10th. I think this would be the fun way to do this. Emilio, who's yours?
I'll take that 35-1 right there, baby.
35.1. Look at the pass blocking grade, 12.6. Tim, who would be your 10th offensive lineman here? It's between Kadeem Telfort, Travis Glover, Donovan Jennings, Tyler Cooper, Brant Banks, J.J. Lipp, and Trey Hill. Anybody stick out to you, Tim?
This is probably not going to be popular, but I would go with Kadeem Telfort just because of I feel like they've got some work already invested in him. That would be my last
very
pick.
true. Very true. That's kind of how I felt about Donovan Jennings a little bit too. Now I know he didn't get – I don't even know if he played any NFL time, like, live reps last year, but they kept him around. Seems like he's been here for a bit, probably knows the system. Kind of feels like how Rasheed Walker for the line. It's like Rasheed Walker was just a body out there. Like he's never going to get to play. Then all of a sudden he steps right into the left tackle role. So I don't know. I don't know if Jacob's here or not. He probably stepped away, didn't he? But anything else you guys want to add to the – let's get Jacob's take. There he is, grinning like a possum in a dumpster.
I did have to step away just for a second, but I'm assuming you're asking who my starting 5 would be, or –
No, asking if we had to have a 10th offensive lineman. Here's who we're keeping, all right? Tom Walker, Morgan Banks, Jenkins, Ryan Belton, John Williams, and Jacob Monk. Who would your 10th be? And you're not allowed to select Travis Glover because Emilio already did that.
Got it.
So we're just assuming that John Williams is going to be there? That's –
I put him in, 7th round pick. I kind of feel like they would keep him because – I don't know if he would make it to the practice squad or not. I don't know what the value is considered across the league with him. I do feel comfortable saying Donovan Jennings, Travis Glover, Kadeem Telfort, those type of guys you could stash on the practice squad, no problem. That's the only reason I chose him, because he was a draft pick. So
okay. Did you have Jacob Monk in that group? Because I think that to me –
heard it from a fan right here.
Hey, fans, monster, sorry for calling mid-show, Jacob.
That's a good comment.
How dare you?
I love how when she pops into the chat, everybody says, "Hi, Mom." Everybody's
I really do think that Donovan Jennings is getting slipped on a little bit.
That's how I feel, Jacob. It was, man. It honestly was.
That's probably who I'd go with. Otherwise, I really do like the progress I've seen out of Jacob Monk through the rumor mill kind of stuff. Kadeem Telfort's a beast of a man, so I don't know if that was in that initial group, but I don't know, dude. I want John Williams to make that group. It's just, to me, did we ever figure out a reason as to why he was missing so much time with? I
have no idea, man. None whatsoever.
That's the coach. Sorry.
Great, man. There's got to be a reason.
Who does practice? Travis
Glover. Here it is.
You talk about the offensive line a little bit more. I'm going to Grok and see what the hell's going on with John Williams.
All right, in a realistic argument here, Emilio, do you actually think Travis Glover is going to make this 53-man roster? And don't give me a bunch of hubbub. Don't give me a bunch of malarkey. I don't want no kerfuffle out of you. All right.
Yeah, no. I think there's a great chance that he makes this roster. He could be used as the spot to get an extra wide receiver on. I get that, but they took him for a reason, right? It's not a 7th round pick. He was a 5th or a 6th. So I do think that I think he's got a shot unless John Williams, shows up and stuff like that. I think that Glover's got at least one more year as a chance.
Okay, yeah. Holmes in the chat saying it was a personal matter. H.E. Soder was saying that the whole new Williams thing at minicamp leads me to think he's not making the team. I don't respect to just saying they had to settle on price range. I don't know about that. I've seen stuff like where they highlight guys like I haven't seen anything much out of Brant Banks, but like where did he come from? Do you think they like him? A guy like Tyler Cooper? That was one that I know me and Tim, we talked about him. He was one of our late round kind of steal guys. I believe that was the guard out of Minnesota, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think
I thought he was a UDFA, right?
UDFA, sorry.
That's Big B's twin brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's right. Yeah.
And honestly, guys like JJ Lipe or whatever, like he just seems like he's one of those guys that fits. So I'm real confident about like the first 6 or 7, completely lost about the last 3 to 4, you know?
Yeah. And I'm not seeing any specific details whatsoever on him. It's just possible speculation. If Williams is indeed not practicing, common reasons for a rookie in his situation could include a minor injury or recovery. I think we'd rule that out because he'd be with a rehab group. Coaching strategy, the Packers may be limiting his reps to focus on technique development or to evaluate other linemen for roster spots. I don't think that's the case. Non-football factors, personal matters, academic commitments, given his aerospace engineering background.
That's the one thing. The dude's like literally a genius. And I'm wondering if what coach is saying, I know that I thought it was Deadfish or someone else had brought this up in the past, and I thought we had gotten an answer that it wasn't that because Cincinnati's graduating class had already happened, kind of thing. But depending on the fact that this dude's like,
well, if you're working on your doctorate, you know,
well,
you're
I was gonna say this guy's
with everyone else.
Yeah,
so.
He's studying like stardust and like alien poops and whatnot. You know,
alien poops.
Yeah,
that checks out. All right. Deadfish says you could try to put Glover on the practice squad, but the Eagles will probably grab him. He was their secret weapon against us.
See, that's what I'm saying. You don't want that. You don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. And he's got a great shot because they always take tackles and move him inside because of the footwork. And you want that. I mean, he's got a shot. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm going to be Stan's dad walking in with the wheelbarrow if that happens. If he makes 53,
I would love to be able to hack into Emilio's Madden account and go into his franchise and see that he's got Travis Glover rated.
Sean Ryan's got to go. Travis Glover gets put in immediately.
Do you guys want me to make some ratings for us now? Because I'm willing to do this, and I swear, I'll go double or nothing. All right.
No, I don't.
I'll go double or nothing. I'll get 2 tattoos. I'll get one of Emilio in a race car bed or some sort of Emilio on the left butt cheek, and I'll get Travis Glover with a heart on the right butt cheek.
On the other side, get AFM's mom washing dishes or something.
Oh Lord,
dude.
I'm just saying, I don't think he's gonna make it, buddy.
That's gonna do it for hour 1. I don't know how we made it, but for those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate you,
Coach.